is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Friday. Good morning to you. I'm Amanda Starrentino.
And I'm Rafael Sanchez. Here's what's making headlines on this Friday, July the 31st. It is now official. The largest public school system in Marion County is going virtual on the first day of class. Our Kelsey Anderson is standing by live with all the live details.
And a program in Marion County is returning to help non-custodial parents behind on child support get their driver's license back. We'll explain how the Good Faith Initiative works.
And more organizations stepping up to help the growing number of homeless right here in the capital city. What one group is doing to provide even more than their daily dose of meals to those in need. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Friday. Amanda, it is great to have you filling in for Lauren this morning, and Todd Clausen. I hope you had a great day off. Of course, while you were off, not much sunshine, but hopefully, you'll make things right as we head into the weekend. Yeah, hopefully.
But I was able to sleep in, Raphael. So it was rainy, but I was able to sleep in. But we needed that rain across central Indiana, so that was good. We got an inch, and we've got it out of the way now going forward in this forecast. There are some rain chances in our near future, but nothing like yesterday. Today is one of those days where you need the sunglasses at times, especially earlier this morning. The umbrella, I checked it for you, but it's one of those deals again today where you do not need to be carrying it around the entire day. Tuck it in the car. It's this afternoon that a few spotty showers sneak in here, and then obviously water is always a good thing to have, especially if you're going to be out and about, even though temperatures today won't be as warm as they have been. 60s this morning, 66 in Martinsville, as well as Greenfield, 64 in Tipton. Skies in the process of trying to clear out this morning. Still a few spotty showers across southern Indiana, and most of the action today should be just to our south. But as we work our way throughout the course of the day today, I do think a few spotty showers will start to build in later on this afternoon. But overall, partly to mostly cloudy skies with the cloud cover that's going to be in place. Temperatures going to be running a little bit below normal today with highs just shy of 80 degrees. Amanda.
Thanks, Todd. And we have a traffic alert for drivers on the city's southeast side. This is a live look right now at I-465 near I-74. A crash has the right two lanes of I-465 eastbound closed. Now, traffic is getting by in the left lane. You'll want to leave a few minutes early if this is part of your commute this morning. We'll let you know when things clear up there. Rafael.
New this morning, a student at Greenfield Central Junior High School, we're told, has tested positive for COVID-19 after the district's first day of school. The superintendent sent an email to parents and students notifying them of this issue. According to that message, the student attended school for part of the day and was then taken to the school's clinic and isolated. WRTV6 has learned the child was sent to school despite having a COVID-19 test pending. The superintendent says anyone who was in close contact with the student was already notified of the situation. The spike in COVID-19 cases in Indianapolis forcing IPS to return students to the classroom. That's both students and teachers. But Amanda, as you know, there is a plan B.
Yes, Rafael. Instead, school will begin with virtual learning. For the first time ever, every child in IPS will get either an iPad or a Chromebook to learn from home. Our Kelsey Anderson is live with all those details for us this morning. Kelsey.
Hey, good morning, Amanda and Rafael. So this decision is a major one for the school district, and leaders say the decision was made solely with the health of everyone in mind. IPS Superintendent Alicia Johnson says the plan the district has come up with for students to learn virtually will be fluid and can change when necessary to help out families. Now, talks are ongoing about how to make sure students who really need that in-person learning can do that. IPS is in the process of developing programs to fill that need. They're also going to make sure all students have access to virtual learning by providing them with the necessary technology. Superintendent Johnson knows virtual learning cannot replace face-to-face learning, but it's what IPS has to do because of the coronavirus pandemic.
I think it's going to be imperative for our community to say this is important for us. We all need to do our part so our kids can get back to school as quickly as possible.
IPS plans to continue serving meals to students. Those plans will be released to parents as soon as they have that plan in place. Now, IPS is aiming to get back into the school buildings in October, but again, it all just plans on looks at how Marion County is handling COVID-19. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you for that report. And Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett and county health leaders have laid out their guidelines for school in Marion County. All students who attend class in person and who are over the age of 8 will be required to wear a mask. A dedicated Marion County Public Health Department team will be available to all schools for emergency testing. They will provide results within 24 to 48 hours. A Marion County Public Health Department team will review safety plans continuously with school leaders. And high-risk teachers and students will be allowed to opt out of in-person learning in compliance with federal requirements.
Amanda, the coronavirus numbers, they continue to climb as nearly 1,000 new cases are now reported in our state. The State Department of Health now confirming 970 new cases in their latest report that came out on Thursday. That brings the state's total number of cases to more than 65,000. 13 new deaths were also confirmed. 2,746 Hoosiers have died from the virus. More than 735,000 people have been tested so far.
And a sad update to a story we brought you earlier this week. A teenager who was injured in a Brownsburg construction site collapse has died. Edwin Campos Martinez was 14 years old. According to the Marion County Coroner's Office, his cause of death was a brain injury following the accident. The collapse happened Monday afternoon at a commercial site near State Road 267 and Northfield Drive. At the time, there was a storm in the area, but authorities could not confirm the cause of the collapse. 3 other people were also taken to the hospital.
So the Marion County prosecutor wants to make a deal with you. Pay your child support and you'll get back your driver's license. This is all part of the program called the Good Faith Initiative. Here's how it works. Non-custodial parents who are behind on child support can get their license reinstated if they make an affordable payment based on their ability to pay. Participants must also commit to staying on track with all future payments.
Hopefully we're creating a situation and an environment where people are able to be productive, not only productive financially, but productive involved in their kids' lives because they have their license and they're able to help pick kids up from school, take them to the doctor, all of those sorts of things. And for us, the overarching goal is what can we do to try to help people out? You know, right now there's a lot of people going through a lot of difficult situations, especially financially, because of COVID. And there's been tremendous economic repercussions because of the pandemic. And so it makes sense for us to come out here and say, what can we do to help to try to make your life easier? And hopefully if we help make your life easier, you're then in a position to contribute to your kid's life, your family's life. And we think that makes for a better, safer community in the long run.
So let's put this program in perspective. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office first tried this out back in December. At the time, in the first 3 weeks, 105 people signed up for the program and received their driver's license back. Now, this program will restart next month. You can find more information about this on our website, theindychannel.com.
The city of Indianapolis and local organizations are increasing efforts to help those experiencing homelessness during the pandemic. For the group Alliance for Homeless Transformation, they are making sure those in need are fed. Lines could be seen outside of the city-county building where they distribute meals. Yesterday, 126 people were given fried chicken, potato salad, and more. But the group offers more than a meal.
Some of our friends have housing, but some of them can't afford a meal. Some of them don't get the assistance they need at the times they need. So they come down here and we try to partner with them and tell them how to get resources, how to get food, pantries we know of, and people in the churches that will help out.
The organization says they have seen longer lines because other shelters are full or working limited hours during the pandemic. That's also why the city announced a plan this week to use hotel rooms to give those facing homelessness a place to stay.
You're watching Good Morning Indiana, and our Hiring Hoosiers initiative is all about connecting you to new and available jobs right now. And the Department of Correction has several openings. In fact, it's hosting multiple virtual events next week. And so here are the details that you need to know about. They have a variety of openings, but the greatest need is for correctional officers and maintenance personnel. The hiring events will be held through Microsoft Teams. That's where a recruiter and human resources representative will be available to answer all of your questions. The first one is scheduled for Tuesday and will run through the rest of the month. You can find more about these events and more job opportunities on our website, hiringhoosiers.com. It is now time to check in with our Todd Clausen. TK, good morning to you. It is great to have you back.
Yeah, Raphael, good to be back. As we go throughout the course of the day today, we'll have some spotty showers in the forecast still, but we're not going to be looking at the rainfall coverage, or they won't be as widespread as they were yesterday, which really essentially turned into a pretty much a washout. We'll have a little bit of sunshine to start the day across the area with temperatures that will be holding pretty steady here in the mid-60s. That's where we are right now. Not much is going to change temperature-wise for the first couple hours here this morning as you get going on this Friday. But eventually we get up into the 70s. The sky's trying to clear, but still some clouds around. A few spotty showers down across southern portions of the area. But most of the heavier rain still off to our west. You notice this spin here. It's an area of low pressure. It's going to pinwheel to our south. So eventually rain chances do re-enter the forecast. But today definitely a lot more dry hours than wet hours. And highs anywhere from about 76 to 80 degrees, which puts us slightly below normal as we end the month of July. Amanda?
Time now is 5:10 on your Friday morning. More people continue to face unemployment because of the pandemic, but the extra money from the stimulus plan is going to expire. Coming up, the latest on where lawmakers are in the process to get more aid to Americans.
And Amanda, Tropical Storm Isaias has been upgraded now to a hurricane. A look at the damage already being done to Puerto Rico and where that storm is headed next. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV6.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time now is 5:14. The federal program that provides unemployed Americans an extra $600 per week expires today.
And leaders on Capitol Hill are still not working out a new plan that would help those that are struggling financially, especially those right here in Indiana. John Lawrence has more.
Millions of Americans nationwide are worried about staying afloat financially.
Every month, even working multiple jobs, I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul.
First-time unemployment claims in the U.S. are up for the second week in a row, and the Aspen Institute says many people are at risk of finding themselves without a place to live.
What we are facing is a possible mass eviction scenario.
The coronavirus pandemic, which has infected nearly 4.5 million Americans, according to Johns Hopkins University, has also crippled the economy.
The whole prospect of having a business in this climate seems impossible.
While some are living hand to mouth, Republicans and Democrats aren't seeing eye to eye on a jobless benefit plan. Both sides say funding is needed. They just can't agree on how to move forward.
If our Democratic colleagues had acted with the urgency that struggling people deserve, we could right now be finishing up a major bipartisan package.
We got here because our Republican colleagues couldn't get their act together. They still don't have their act together, and now they're worried. But instead of being serious in negotiating, they have created a stunt.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And it's no secret that small businesses are struggling right now, and a new survey shows many are resorting to personal funds to get through the pandemic. 24% of small business owners say they are getting by using personal credit cards. 21% have tapped into their own savings account to stay afloat. But the Paycheck Protection Program was still the most popular form of funding. 30% of small businesses used it.
Amanda, as scientists continue to work on a treatment for COVID-19, researchers are creating miniature versions of organs to test those drugs on those organs. The Wake Forest Medicine Institute says it's a new use for its bioprinting system. In the past, they've used 3D printed normal size organs and tissues in hopes of someday implanting them in patients. For COVID-19, the lab is creating organs using human cells that can be as small as the tip of a pin. They're focusing on organs most likely to be infected by the disease, like the lungs. Researchers say testing a drug using the bioprinting system can tell if a drug is toxic in weeks instead or after years on the market.
Even though we've used the tool extensively for toxicity testing, it's also a tool that can be used for screening. So we can test agents that are currently being considered for testing against COVID and test the efficacy of the treatment on miniature human organs made out of normal cells.
So keep this in mind. These drug tests on 3D printed organs are not meant to replace clinical trials in humans. They're just an added step to better predict what will happen in those trials. After hitting Puerto Rico yesterday, Isaias has now strengthened into a hurricane. That storm is now near the Bahamas and is moving northwest. Maximum sustained winds are at least 80 miles per hour. Isaias hit both Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic as a tropical storm with torrential rain and flooding. Trees were downed and homes collapsed. Now, this is the second hurricane of the season. The first was Hurricane Hannah, which hit parts of Texas and Mexico just last week. Now let's get to home here, and Todd Clausen in Studio A. Todd, nothing like that that we're seeing there in the off of the Bahamas, but obviously we did see a lot of rain yesterday.
Yeah, you know, over an inch of rain in spots across central Indiana, and the storm not really going to impact us directly, obviously, here in central Indiana, with its track. For us to be impacted by a tropical system, it has to basically come up to the Gulf of Mexico. And this storm system is going to be making its way close to the Florida coast as a Category 1 storm. And then it's going to kind of curve and hug the coast, probably clipping the Outer Banks as we get into early next week on Tuesday, and then eventually heading up off into New England. So hopefully most of the United States should be spared a direct hit from this system. Again, it's probably the Outer Banks, North Carolina, that we'll have to keep an eye on. But as this storm system makes its way up the East Coast, it kind of blocks the weather from moving from west to east across the country. And so that could, at least especially the beginning of next week, keep some rain chances in our forecast. So indirectly, it does impact us as we go into next week. Rain chances will be with us off and on throughout the next couple days. It's not till the middle of next week that we start to take these rain chances out of the forecast and bring back in a much brighter and more quiet weather pattern. 68 degrees, that's the current temperature right now. The winds out of the northeast currently at 8 miles per hour, and temperatures are currently sitting in the 60s anywhere you go. So it's a relatively cooler morning for us here across the area. And there's still some humidity around just because the ground is so wet from the rainfall yesterday. But with that rainfall, many areas have come out of the abnormally dry category. And I'll show you the new updated drought monitor coming up in just a few minutes here. The skies starting to clear across the area. Some spotty showers down to the south, more of a complex of storms off to our west, and this is all going to slowly start to make its way into our area. So throughout the day today, we start off with some sunshine, kind of toggle back and forth between partly to mostly cloudy skies. You notice your temperatures stay in the 70s today. We don't make it to 80 degrees in most locations, and then we'll build in just those spotty showers as we work our way into the afternoon and evening hours. Fast forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow, a much better chance, unfortunately, of rainfall. So on Saturday, we're definitely going to be probably having to carry the umbrellas around. 75 degrees. Sunday, 30% chance of an isolated storm or two with a temperature that'll be right around 77 degrees. Let's go over to TrueCast for you, back to today. And you notice there's some spotty showers building in southern locations. That's the best chance of seeing those showers today. But watch what happens as we go into tomorrow. That spin that I showed you near Kansas City, well, that spins to our south, and it's going to pinwheel some of these showers in our direction. There could be a few heavier downpours, maybe a rumble of thunder in the forecast as well as we work our way throughout the day on Saturday. So definitely, we do have outdoor plans for the day tomorrow. I think you're going to have to keep an eye on the radar, especially if you're going to be out there in the afternoon hours. Storm Shield, a great app to download for that interactive radar, completely free in your app store. And then you can also set it if warnings would be issued. Not expecting any warnings with any severe weather, but again, you can use that radar to kind of time out the showers. Draw your attention to the end of your 7-day planning forecast. 70s for highs. We get the sunshine back on Wednesday and Thursday, but look at those low temperatures getting a little cool for August standards as we'll get down into the mid-50s Wednesday and Thursday morning. Amanda?
That end of the forecast is something to look forward to. We have a traffic alert for drivers on the city's southeast side. This is a live look at I-465 near I-74. A crash has the right lane of I-465 eastbound closed right where you see those flashing lights. There are no other crashes or delays to let you know about around the metro area. Rafael.
So Walmart is rolling out this new technology to help workers help you in all of the aisles. The retail giant has created an app which is called Ask Sam. It's called Ask Sam. Staffers can use it to help find products in the store, look up prices, and get real-time emergency alerts. The company is also using the app to keep workers up to date about coronavirus issues. Ask Sam will not be available to customers on the Walmart shopping app, but it does include store maps and a price scanner. The Indianapolis Zoo welcoming a new adorable zoo baby. Check it out. We'll introduce you to this little calf right after the break. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on RTV6. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana, and the Indy Zoo is welcoming its newest addition, a baby greater kudu. Check it out. Mom Jojo gave birth to this adorable female calf last Monday. The calf, who has yet to be named, is her 6th baby. Zoo officials say the mother-daughter duo are doing well and has recently started venturing outside together. Now, greater kudus are among the largest antelope species. Their striped coats help them hide from predators in the African savanna. And from a kudu, I want to give kudos to our Amanda Starantino, who hosted a great Facebook Live yesterday, and that is in this morning to help us out because Lauren is taking the day off. So thank you, Amanda. Great job last night, by the way.
Oh, thank you. You know, it's nice to be back here. It's been about 2 years, I think, or 3 years since I've done Good Morning Indiana. It's weird to be saying good morning, but I am so happy to be here with you guys. And also congratulations to JoJo over there at the Indy Zoo. Todd, the weather's looking a little cooler now.
Yeah, it is. You know, the morning show is just like riding a bike. You know, you fall right back into knowing how to do it, except for that alarm clock. That gets you every time. All right, outside right now, temperatures are in the 60s. It's mainly dry after a very wet day yesterday. A few spotty showers down near the Bedford area, and that is just about it. Going forward throughout the course of the day today, there'll be some sunshine here to start, and then as we work our way throughout the course of the evening hours, a few spotty showers will start to build in. Highs today, a little bit below normal in the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. The time now is 5:27. We'll talk more about your weekend forecast coming up in the next half hour of Good Morning Indiana. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Indianapolis public school administrators say the way to return their students safely back to school is by starting the year totally virtual. Now at 5:30, what they believe needs to happen before in-person teaching can resume.
And Amanda, about 25% of the nation's schools will start the year without a school nurse. This morning, what's behind the shortage and what needs to be done to fix that very serious problem? Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Friday. I'm Rafael Sanchez. Amanda Starantino is joining us this morning, filling in for Lauren Casey. And Todd Clausen is back from his day off. Todd, it's great to see you. It's great to begin the morning with both of you. So good morning from your official RTV6 living room in Johnson County.
It's good to be with both of you, Rafael, as well as Amanda. Welcome to the early morning hours once again. I know you used to be here before you went to evening, so welcome back to dark and early. All right, outside right now we're dealing with partly cloudy skies across the area. There's a few clouds still, but most of the showers are out of here from yesterday. Over an inch of rain in spots, by the way, yesterday as it turned into a pretty soggy day. A few spotty showers south of Bedford, but that is just about it. Back off to our west, though, and as we expand out, you look all the way from the East Coast back towards Kansas City and Wichita, you notice the unsettled weather. But some of this rain that's off to our west is going to start to spin towards us as this area of low pressure moves just south of Indiana through Kentucky, but that's more of a player for tomorrow compared to today. Outside right now, we're dealing with partly cloudy skies, temperatures in the upper 60s. 68 a common number. Indy to Lafayette to Bloomington. 67 is the current temperature right now in Greenwood. Going forward throughout the day, we kind of toggle back and forth between partly to mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be below normal today. Highs only in the mid to upper 70s. And then once we get to the evening hours, a little better chance of some spotty showers starting to work their way into the forecast. But again, nothing like yesterday. We're not looking at any all-day rain, so that is good news for your Friday. Things change, unfortunately, for the weekend. More on that in just a few minutes. Amanda?
All right, see you soon, Todd. We're looking at that downtown skyline from the east side from our traffic camera for this live look at I-70 at Rural Street and Keystone Avenue. On the east side, traffic is moving pretty smooth for your commute into work or wherever you're going for this Friday morning. We will keep you updated if we spot anything on the roads for you. IPS students will begin the school year learning from home.
The school board making it official as they grew concerned about the spike in COVID-19 cases in the capital city. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with the details. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So this is a big deal for IPS students, teachers, and staff. But Superintendent Alicia Johnson says this fall semester going virtually for the first part will be much better than what it was in the spring. Superintendent Johnson says the plan the district has come up with for students to learn virtually will be fluid and can change when necessary to help out families. Talks are ongoing about how to make sure students who really need to learn in person can do that. IPS is now in the process of developing programs to fill that need. They're also going to make sure all students have access to virtual learning by providing them with the necessary technology.
But certainly I understand the anxiety and concern families would be facing, which is why having that communication line open, making sure we're communicating clearly and frequently will be really important.
Superintendent Johnson knows virtual learning cannot replace face-to-face learning, but it's what IPS has to do because of this pandemic. Now, IPS is aiming to get back in the classroom by October, but again, that just depends on how Marion County is handling COVID-19. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. And a school nurse shortage in the middle of a pandemic, and public health officials say it is a problem.
And this is a serious issue. And this morning, we continue our series on how to get your kids safely back to school. Chris Conti has much more information on what might happen if your child's school does not have a school nurse.
Of all the equipment you might find inside a school nurse's office, nothing compares to the value of the school nurse themselves.
Is it safe to return to school?
Linda Mendoza oversees the National Association of School Nurses. As she thinks about empty classrooms beginning to fill back up with students, she can't help but be filled with anxiety.
We don't have a roadmap for this. And so I think when you don't have a roadmap, that makes it a little more challenging.
School nurses will be playing a critical role in the reopening of schools. They're being asked to monitor kids for COVID symptoms and, in some cases, help health departments with contact tracing if an outbreak occurs at a school. But a nationwide school nurse shortage puts a lot of that in jeopardy.
In the midst of a pandemic, there should be a school nurse in every school. And there is not.
Nationwide, 25% of schools will be starting the year without a school nurse, a statistic that is particularly troublesome to health officials in the face of this pandemic. What's driving the school nurse shortage? For starters, pay. The average school nurse makes about $46,000. There's also a simple funding problem. School nurses are often the first to get cut when districts need to eliminate positions. The need is so great that the National Association of School Nurses is advocating for 10,000 new nurses in the next federal stimulus bill.
How will we reduce transmission of illness if we don't have nurses there to assess COVID-like symptoms?
Jenny Gormley and Doreen Crow are both school nurses in Massachusetts.
And the essential role of the school nurse is so important. That there needs to be a full-time nurse in school every day at all schools.
Their hope is that in the face of this pandemic, districts across the country will find ways to support nurses with both PPE and funding.
We all want students back learning face-to-face and in the buildings, but we want to do it safely.
There's a lot of unknowns in all of this, right? It changes day to day.
As parents attempt to send their kids safely back to school, school nurses will be one of the best prescriptions for success. I'm Chris Conti reporting.
Turning now to the latest coronavirus data and how the virus continues to impact Hoosier families. State health officials confirmed nearly 1,000 new cases of the virus here in Indiana. That brings the running total to more than 65,000 cases. The state health department also says 13 more Hoosiers have died from the virus. Since March, more than 2,700 people in Indiana have died from COVID-19. And taking a look at the state's hospitalization data at this hour, more than 45% of the state's ICU beds are being used. This morning, coronavirus patients are using a little more than 12%. Nearly 42% of the state's ICU beds are still available.
And because of all of those numbers, another big event has become the casualty of the pandemic. The Junior League of Indianapolis has canceled its annual Holiday Mart. The 4-day shopping event typically features a variety of Central Indiana vendors and is completely planned, produced, and staffed by league volunteers. Now, since March, the league has turned its focus to providing support to those impacted by COVID-19, including donating funds for emergency food insecurity relief and an emergency shelter program.
And throughout the pandemic, we have shown you the struggles that small business owners are facing. But this morning, a Noblesville business owner says his business is actually benefiting from families staying at home. Jason Manship owns Moonshot Games and was forced to shut down because of the pandemic. Manship says that's when he launched an online store, and business has been booming since. Moonshot Games reopened its Noblesville location in May. And now, a new opportunity to expand. On July 1st, Moonshot opened a store on Mass Ave.
I think it's just been in the right place at the right time in a lot of ways. I mean, something you and I have talked about before, we got into puzzles. We were a game store, and people said we really want some puzzles also, and quarantine makes total sense, right? You're isolated, you're looking for something to keep your mind occupied and do something.
And the Mass Ave store has a beer and wine permit, which Manship says caters to the crowds Mass Ave attracts. And this morning, both locations are still limiting capacity and have plexiglass barriers and sanitation procedures they follow. Todd, might be a good weekend to do some puzzles, play some board games.
You know, tomorrow is going to probably be a great day for that, as we'll be dealing with more showers and maybe a few thunderstorms in the forecast. Not going to be the best Saturday. Today's a little bit better. I want to update you on the drought monitor. This comes out every Thursday morning. And the one change is you notice they've eliminated any color from Indianapolis back towards Terre Haute. So with the rainfall in that area, we have come out of the abnormally dry conditions, which is the yellow area, but still moderate drought out there, Peru over into portions of the Marion area and Muncie. But more rain chances are on the way. We have this area of low pressure back off to our west. It's more of a player for tomorrow, but there's a few spotty showers this morning down in the Bedford area. So going forward, there are rain chances in this forecast. In fact, every day, at least through the middle of next week. A little higher for your Saturday. Then they come down on Sunday. They ramp back up on Monday. And then eventually by Tuesday afternoon, I think we'll take the rain out of the forecast. And wait till you see the temperatures for the first week of August. Kind of hard to believe. We'll be in the 70s. More on that coming out in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you so much. The former police officer who killed Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri back in 2014 will not face any criminal charges. Straight ahead, why prosecutors say the decision does not exonerate Darren Wilson.
And the Pacers will be playing for real starting tomorrow, but will the blue and gold be ready for a 2-week sprint into the playoffs? Hear from the team coming up.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. This morning, an additional execution is now set at the federal prison in Terre Haute. Lesmond Mitchell is the sole Native American on federal death row. Mitchell is convicted of killing a Navajo woman and her 9-year-old granddaughter back in 2001. Now, despite the nature of the killings, tribal officials and the victim's family are opposed to the death penalty. Mitchell's execution is scheduled for now for August the 26th.
The former Ferguson, Missouri police officer who killed Michael Brown will not face charges. 18-year-old Brown was unarmed before being shot by Darren Wilson in August of 2014. The shooting prompted a federal civil rights inquiry, protests, and a national debate. The decision by the St. Louis County prosecutor comes nearly 6 years after a grand jury declined to prosecute Wilson. Prosecutors say although they could not prove a crime was committed, the investigation does not exonerate Wilson.
Across our country, we continue to see a record number of deaths connected to COVID-19. At the same time, the number of cases is rising in about 30 states across the country. ABC's Alex Prochet on the impact on the people and the economy.
This morning, the U.S. grappling with both health and economic emergencies. Coronavirus deaths continue to climb, now over 151,000. Louisiana's governor reporting the state's highest daily death toll in 2.5 months. Florida had its third straight day of record deaths. With the tropical storm approaching, public testing sites statewide are shutting down through the weekend. California and North Carolina hit record daily deaths this week, as did Texas. COVID taking its toll inside Houston's United Memorial Medical Center.
You got a death wish, catch COVID.
The hospital seeing one of its own nurses sickened. A doctor there says he feels like he's fighting two wars.
A war against COVID and a war against stupidity.
He's frustrated after seeing people on the street not wearing masks or socially distancing. And now a grim new warning from an association of medical colleges. If the nation doesn't change its course, and soon, deaths could be well into the multiple hundreds of thousands. The silver lining? FEMA reported fewer cases, down an average of 3% from last week. Dr. Anthony Fauci saying this on CNN.
I don't think we need to go to lockdown again.
But the virus has hit the economy hard already. Data shows it contracted at an annual rate of nearly 33% from April to June, the worst number since records began at the end of World War II.
Consumer spending absolutely dropped off a cliff.
That means livelihoods threatened and long lines for food like this scene in Los Angeles.
It's helped a lot.
1.4 million people filed for unemployment last week, just as those emergency $600 benefit checks for 30 million Americans are set to expire. Senate Republicans made a last-minute attempt to extend these benefits, but at just $200, something that Democrats rejected, calling it a callous political move and saying that we need a more comprehensive plan. But even if these two sides can come to an agreement here, it's something that will likely take weeks. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
All right, as you walk out the door here this morning, you're walking out the dry conditions for the most part. There's a couple showers near Bedford. Here's a live look from IMS back towards downtown Indianapolis. And skyline looking really nice on this Friday morning. No visibility issues out there whatsoever. And we're finally getting a little bit of an opportunity to dry out after what was a very wet day yesterday. 68 degrees is the current temperature. Winds out of the northeast at 8 miles per hour. There's still some humidity out there because of all the moisture that's in the ground from the rain yesterday. So it has more of that damp feel compared to that humidity that we say feels like you're wearing it when you walk out the door. So this morning, we're going to be, it's going to have a decent start to the day, I guess is the best way to put it. It's not a great start, but you can definitely get out for that walk or jog this morning or maybe a bike ride once the sun comes up in just about an hour or so. 66 in Martinsville and Greenfield right now, 65 in Richmond, 64 the number as you work your way from Tipton up into the Peru area. So everybody's within a couple degrees of each other. With skies that are partly cloudy, you notice clearer skies from Kokomo to Peru, a little bit away of cloud cover here in Indianapolis. So I think we do start off with some sunshine, but once the sun comes up, there's still enough instability out there. I think we'll kind of fill the clouds back in, and then we'll just toggle back and forth between that partly to mostly cloudy sky during the course of the day. This area of rain that you see off to our west with the spin, that is going to be some rain that will be heading our way during the day tomorrow. So today, definitely not a washout, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures running a little bit below normal once again with highs that'll be in the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. And there will be the chance of a few spotty showers starting to work their way into the forecast later on this afternoon and eventually into the evening hours. But unfortunately, as we get into the weekend, tomorrow is going to be a day that's going to feature quite a bit of shower activity across the area. I think we'll be dodging showers off and on throughout much of the day on Saturday. Sunday, the rain chances are still there, but they're a lot lower, only about a 30% chance of an isolated thunderstorm or two. But look at those temperatures. For August 1st and 2nd, as we start the new month tomorrow, we're looking at temperatures that are going to be in the 70s. Now, as we go throughout the course of today on TrueCast, you notice the best opportunity for those showers later on this evening is going to be here in southern locations, as some of these showers are going to kind of try to pinwheel up. Most of us remain dry, especially for those of you to the north this evening. I think you can carry on with any plans that you do have if they include being outdoors. This is tomorrow on TrueCast, and some of this rain comes in already before sunrise, and then watch as we go throughout the day. We'll just continue to deal with these showers off and on a scattered basis across the area. Maybe a few isolated downpours here and there, and then eventually they start to pull out late in the day tomorrow. So it's not a complete washout for your Saturday, but we'll have rain chances in the forecast overcast off and on throughout the entire day for you. And then as you look at your 7-day planning forecast, still some storm chances Monday. They become a little lower on Tuesday with a high of 77. Then Wednesday and Thursday look absolutely terrific next week. Temperatures still below normal for both highs and lows. In fact, Wednesday and Thursday morning of next week, low temperatures in the mid-50s.
All right, thanks, Todd. We are about 36 hours away from the official restart of the Pacers season, which will be played entirely in Orlando.
And we can't wait. This morning, our Brad Brown shows us how the blue and gold, Boom Baby, are getting ready to get back to work.
July would normally put some of the Pacers in the NBA Summer League, just not most of these guys, and certainly not in this setting.
I think guys are going to be uncomfortable the whole time. I think guys need to shift their focus away from being uncomfortable and shift it to playing good basketball.
But after 3 weeks in the Orlando bubble, it's time to finally play the games that count. The Pacers get back to business on Saturday, the first of 8 games leading up to the playoffs.
We're looking forward to the real grind. I think everybody, of course, is looking forward to into the playoffs, but we got to take all these games as seriously as possible. I think guys is ready to go out to play for real.
Domantas Sabonis is out for now. A foot injury sent him back home for treatment, and he may not return at all.
It's going to change a lot. Him setting screens, he's a great screen setter as well. So, I mean, it shouldn't change that much, but obviously missing a piece like that, it hurts us. But we have bigs who know how to play basketball.
Definitely tough to see him go, but it's something for me. I mean, even when he's here, it's just whenever my number's called, I'm going to go in there and just do what I can to help the team and be successful.
As for Victor Oladipo, he's in, or is he? Oladipo played some solid minutes in the 3 scrimmage games, but never really committed to going the distance with this summer season.
I got to make sure that no movements bother my knee or, I'm hindered from making certain movements. I got to make sure everything is good. So, day by day, game by game, reassessing after every game, making sure that I'm good, my knee is good, and then we'll go from there.
And like every other team that's still playing, some questions will have to wait to be answered until another couple of games get played. With no true home court advantage on the line, this playoff push takes on a different feel.
We were going to have some bad play in games like this. We want to try to get that out of our system and make sure that we get connected on both ends of the floor, all of us, for this restart.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 5:56 on this Friday morning. Visiting places like zoos and aquariums has not been easy amid the COVID-19 pandemic, and that's why one California family decided to bring attractions to their neighborhood.
So Amanda, I want you to meet the Ruff family because they created an aquarium as well as a zoo in their front yard using a lot of imagination and creativity. Check this out. It started out with a stingray and then, of course, made out of construction paper, and then it just simply grew from there. Everything is made of recycled materials. There are more than 700 decorated cardboard cutouts on display, some decorated by people who live nearby. The Ruffs are also giving back to their community. People who visit the art supply show can donate art supplies that will be donated to the students in South Central Los Angeles. Another sign that there are good people doing good things every day, everywhere.
A good COVID-19 project there.
All right, as you walk out the door here this morning, the sky's starting to brighten across central Indiana. As you look off past downtown Indianapolis, you can see the skies here where they're clear. Obviously, these darker areas are some clouds that are still present across parts of the area. And we'll go back and forth between partly to mostly cloudy skies here this morning with temperatures that are going to be sitting in the mid-60s. So temperatures hold pretty steady throughout the morning hours as the clouds break apart. Eventually, high temperatures will get up into the upper 70s to low 80s, still below normal, but decent for this time of year. We'll also look for a few spotty showers this afternoon. More on the shower chances not only today, but for the weekend coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on RTV6.